And now here comes the Lolita Express. A curious prince. Andrew falls back as the FBI takes the reins. Faulty cameras falls off quickly as a fat Bill Barr moves into position. And here comes my guards. Took a nap followed by the strongest bedsheets and the dumbest thing we've ever heard. And at the wire, it's Epstein. Did hang himself. There is no list and a massive scandalous cover-up.
What's up, guys? Benny. At the very root of the Jeffrey Epstein mystery is where the hell did he get so much money, and why did so many powerful people trust him? And we're finding out some of the answers to those questions, at least a little bit, because we've been asking. Like here, for instance, is a New York Times article about inside of Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, something we would have never gotten. You can see just the sheer number of very powerful people that he hung out with, including popes and presidents, dictators and rock stars and so on. Like for instance, here's a never-before-seen photo of him and his best bestie, Bill Clinton. So what's going on now with Jeffrey Epstein? We found out this week photos like this exist, and we also found out that brand new photos of Bill Clinton exist because Jeffrey Epstein's butler, somebody who's very close with Jeffrey Epstein, has now published a few of them. Here is the photo, ladies and gentlemen, of Bill Clinton wearing a Just Do It Nike shirt, Jordan, on the Lolita Express. This is curious, but the internet is also bringing attention to this shirt that Jeffrey Epstein is wearing. This is a shirt for the Israeli Defense Forces. Now, it has long been assumed that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset, even though no intel agencies have ever admitted that, because in order to do so, they would have to say that they were complicit at the very least, or openly approving of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes against underage women. And so no intel agency is ever going to cop to that, at least not until we force them to. But what about clandestine intelligence agencies? What about them? You know, Jeffrey Epstein had a very interesting relationship with the state of Israel. And there are many documents that tie him to Israeli leaders, that tie him to Netanyahu, Ehud Barak, who was the former prime minister. Ehud Barak was constantly at Jeffrey Epstein's apartment, going in and out, covering his face. Many assumed that Jeffrey Epstein was being run by a foreign intelligence agency, and because of that, all of the information that Jeffrey Epstein was gathering was going to a foreign nation if we couldn't control it. It's one thing if it's, you know, the CIA's source and they have all the information. It's a totally different thing if that information could be sold on the black market because other nations have it. And you have compromising photos of presidents and prime ministers and American celebrities and so on. Yeah, it's a real problem. The other critical thing about this specific image is that it is the last image, I think, of Jeffrey Epstein alive. According to the date here in 2019, this is the last photo of Jeffrey Epstein before he was incarcerated and then murdered. Photo of Jeffrey Epstein on his jet in 2019 wearing Israel Defense Forces sweatshirt. This photo may be the last one taken of the financier, showing an IDF sweatshirt. So, what is that exactly, right? Like, this guy's legit, by the way. Like, this isn't AI or Photoshop. His story completely checks out. I encourage you to read here at the Telegraph. I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself. So who did kill Jeffrey Epstein? We have actually asked a couple of questions about this. So we asked questions of Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, and said, hey, was Jeffrey Epstein an intelligence asset, and was he an intelligence asset working for Mossad, working for Israel? You know, he is wearing the swag, right? And Alan Dershowitz said, well, actually, I did connect him with very high-level Israeli officials when he flew to Israel. It's the first time anybody's ever said anything like this on an interview. Here we go.
We're able to preserve a plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein in 2008 when you were his lawyer. Alex Acosta made a pretty stunning claim as to why that plea deal went forward and why he wasn't able to get a heavier prosecution against Jeffrey Epstein, saying, I was told that Epstein belonged to Intel and to leave it alone. And this is what Acosta said before a Senate committee looking to confirm him in the first Trump term.
Can you expound on that? Could you unpack that for us?
Yeah, I would shocked if that were true. Jeffrey Epstein was not a reliable person. I can't imagine that any intelligence service would be using him, but I heard the claim. I heard the claim that the Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agents, used him just the way they used Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Maxwell. And, you never know. One thing about intelligence services, they act in secret, so you never know, but I can't imagine any thoughtful intelligence service using a guy like Jeffrey Epstein, but it's certainly possible. If so, I didn't know anything about it. In fact, once when I was in Israel writing a book, he called me. He was in France, and he said, I've never been to Israel. I don't know anybody in Israel. Could I come visit you for a day? And he did. He flew his plane, and I took him on a walk in the Shuk, in the Arab area. We had lunch with some prominent Israelis, judges, etc. He asked me to put together a lunch. And then about 9 o'clock at night, he got on his plane as he left. As far as I know, that was the only time he was ever in Israel, but who knows, he could have fooled me too.
And then we asked Matt Gaetz, who's somebody who I think very much knows the truth about Epstein, about what happened there. I was there for 18 years. There's no way Epstein killed himself, says his butler. He loved life too much to kill himself and was confident in securing bail before he died, the butler says. This is the butler saying that there's absolutely no way that he accepts the official verdict that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. And he also believes that Virginia Roberts was a victim of foul play. So he says that both of them were suicided. He's making these extraordinary claims. But I guess we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Gaetz says that it was a foreign country that was allowed to come in and kill Jeffrey Epstein. We know this because we asked, the clip's now gone famous, here's Matt Gaetz saying, we let a foreign nation come in and kill Epstein. Well, what foreign nation could it be? Here we go. Why is the world's foremost pederast protected? This makes no sense. Like, this is like evil, right? Like everyone agrees on. It's like you got a 99%
on Epstein. Bill Barr is the one that needs to be called in to give sworn testimony on what happened there at Bureau of Prisons, because that is not that. There's just no way that the story you're getting is the real story there. No freaking way, and Bill Barr knows it.
Most people believe that, right? Like it's like no way that that's.
I actually think that on Epstein, it was a foreign government that took him out. I don't think it was a domestic enterprise.
Really?
I do. I'm not going to say which one, but I don't think it was domestic inspired to take out him. I think that was a foreign operation, government sponsored.
So foreign operation took out Epstein inside of our prison.
Yes.
So they must have been allowed to.
Oh, I think it was in concert with people in our government.
Wow.
But not at like some low-level guard getting bribed kind of way.
Yeah.
At a state-to-state level.
So wow. So that's probably a lot of party interests in keeping that under wraps.
You better believe